Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and Druids! Across our beloved empire, say with me, dang, it's great to be in the Empire today. We're coming at you live inside of the Grand Arena Coliseum, where we are going to talk about Iden Versio and showcase several things. First thing people want to see is Iden Versio's Omicron. Is it worth upgrading? What does it look like? And I also want to show you my first time going up against her in Grand Arena. She's been causing a lot of problems for people inside of a Grand Arena setting, even without the Omicron on her leadership ability, exactly as planned, which is a Grand Arena Omicron. And I also want to show you a few other situations where Iden's been doing some heavy lifting. I had to do a Territory Wars the other day, and someone let the preloaded Terminator Scandroid team, full preloaded Terminator, tons of health protection. How did she fare up against them with the ability of getting 100% Terminator in any game mode? And even if you're a low star character owner of Iden Verse or a low gear, you're not going to get her to 7 stars anytime soon. Get a load of what she can do, even for more free to play, newer type of accounts that exist out there. So let's go ahead, roll some gameplay. I first want to start off by showcasing my first time going up against her inside of a Grand Arena setting. There was a lot of unknowns. When we see these new teams come up, we don't know how good or bad they are. They're going to be in Grand Arena, so people who have them, they usually throw them on defense and let their opponents try to figure out how to go about them. For example, one of my friends that we're going up against each other in Grand Arena, but the previous round, when they were fighting up against Pimpo, they had to throw 10 battles up against Iden Versio because they didn't know what to do. I believe Pimpo dropped some battles. My opponent dropped battles against my Iden Versio. I was able to one-shot this Iden Versio that my opponent that I just faced dropped on defense. We're able to one-shot, but we were kind of guessing. If you do see Iden Versios on defense, they are deadly, they are fast, they get tons of Terminator, and Iden's gonna get 100% Terminator because of the first in and because of the Zeta. She's got to be the last out unless you have some sort of ability that can stop her from reviving. Causes a lot of problems when she's cleansing the team, healing up the team, mass swarming, applying vulnerability, stuns, buff dispels, and then you have all these troopers that are putting some heavy damage and counterattacking on you. It got pretty sketchy. We were running out of time. I'm guessing Night Sisters should be viable. It's our first time, so maybe we can try to eke out some better time allotment when it comes to this particular battle right here. But the trick was stun locking them, getting the plague locked onto them so they can't get the cleanse through Iden. Asajj making sure she dispels that we adapt or die. So if you do kill off a trooper, they don't revive all over again. It was a very tricky battle, and I can see why a lot of people are dropping battles up against her. I'm sure we're gonna find more ways to make it pretty consistent. And keep in mind, that's not even an Omicron Iden that we're seeing for this first battle. We have Omicron Iden in 2 battles from now, which makes me wonder if Night Sisters will be able to cheese their way through victory even with an Omicron on Iden, because with that Omicron, as we're going to go more in depth a little bit here, she's going to get a lot of health and protection recovery and Terminator anytime an enemy is attacking out of turn, and she's increasing the health and protection of her troopers by 35%. So it's pretty gnarly stuff we're working with. We'll show that in a little bit of in a second here, but the next battle is me in a Territory War situation. Someone in my guild, we went up against Wolfpack. Someone left a preloaded Terminator, pretty much full health protection, Scandroid team. And I recommended, I said, hey guild, I have an Iden Versio, let me try it out. They're like, okay. She's very helpful. And again, the Omicron's not applicable in territories. I don't even have the Omicron applied on her. She's helpful even without the Omicron outside of Grand Arena. In a preloaded turn meter situation, even in Grand Arena, you screwed up, the team's preloaded. She's the queen of speed, or turn meter I should say. Kenobi's the king because he can stop all turn meter, but she's the queen because she's going to get 100% turn meter in any game mode that lingers out there. And I was able to get out there, get some big plays going, and pretty much leave with almost full health and protection on this particular team. So another tip to have in your back pocket in territories or Grand Arena, if one, you're not sure if you can outrun the team that you're facing, or two, you left a big mess and you need to clean it up, Iden Verso, and I've seen her even at low stars doing a fantastic job cleaning up the mess that was left behind. That's why we call them the Special Forces. When things go south, you call the Special Forces. That was another cool use to get out of her. But let's start talking about the Omicron gameplay. And I want to give a big special shout out to Ravenlock99. I'm going to leave a link down below if you want to go ahead and check out their channel to kind of get a more in-depth look at this gameplay here. They took their Omicron Iden Versio, went up against a Mon Mothma team, and it was absolutely beautiful. Basically full health and protection, leaving out of this battle, which is very tricky for a lot of teams that get that many banners as a result here. Let's talk about that Omicron. Now, if you want more of an in-depth review, kit breakdown, stat analysis, card in the top right-hand corner, we did an initial character review breakdown of Iden Verse. So we're not going to do a full depth breakdown today, but with this Omicron, if you do apply it at the start of the battle, if no other allies have the leader tag, Imperial Trooper allies are getting 35% max health and protection. This is the biggest thing right here. Whenever an enemy attacks on a turn, Imperial Trooper allies gain they recover 20% health and protection and gain 10% turn meter. And this is literally one of the hardest counters we're seeing, especially for Mon Mothma. Fine, they'll get a bunch of turns maybe, but when they're attacking you and you're constantly getting 20% health, it's very hard for the Rebel fighters, even with the help of Kyle Katarn, to override that massive amount of protection, health recovery, and they're going to keep up with the turn meter. Yeah, you have Hawk Scout maybe trying to give some turn meter to the Rebel fighters, but when everyone's attacking out of turn, you got 5 characters, let's say, attacking on turn on Mon Mothma. That's 50% turn meter you're getting every single time a single character in the Rebel Fighter crew is taking a turn. This is definitely one of the hardest counters we are seeing out there. I was really hoping to maybe see some Rebel Fighters up against Commander Luke Skywalker, because a similar thing happens. You got 2 Wookiees that attack out of turn, and there's a lot of counter attacks. So when you got 2 Wookiees attacking out of turn, you're recovering basically 40% max health and protection back off of those counters or those assists that those Wookiees are doing anytime, like, let's say, CLS or Han Solo's going out there. So I think this is gonna have a lot more uses out there. But as we know, Rebel Fighters, they are banner snipers. They're pretty tricky. And if you do win, you usually lose a lot of banners. You might lose some people. This is super clean. And with that vulnerability, reducing their speed, the buff dispels, you got the cleanses. Oh, I love this character. Definitely a solid character. Only downside is they really limited her kit outside of it, outside of the Imperial Special Force, I like to call it. And this is from Ice Age Fighter, very frequent viewer of our Kyber Club channel, a VIP over here, I should say as well. This is a situation where someone placed an Iden Versio low gear, level 43 blue gear on defense. And because they get 100% turn meter, and keep in mind, you don't even need a Zeta to get the 100% turn meter. So this is my big PSA, and I should follow my own advice here for my free-to-play account. If you've got, let's say, a leftover Snow Trooper, Magma Trooper laying around, those are characters you probably get very easily for free. It might be worth something placing in a Grand Arena setting, because it's better than throwing some really light garb. Look, I wish I could throw an Iden Versio back here. That would do a lot more, even at low gear, low stars, than something like this, for example. So don't sleep on Iden Versio, a very solid character that a lot of people should be utilizing end game, mid game, early game. She's gonna do a lot of fun stuff with them. Am I gonna apply the Omicron on her? I have 3 Omicrons that are on my mind right now. Omicron number 1 is Dash Rendar. Omicron number 2, Iden Versio. Omicron number 3, Captain Phasma. Since my guild is very territory war oriented, they're requesting people start going for Captain Phasma Omicron because she can kick some GL butt inside of a territory war setting. For me personally, I'm debating between Iden Versio or Dash Rendar, and I gotta say, I'm really feeling Iden Versio for Grand Arena, whether on defense to make it more complicated to try to cheese their way through it. Could be a fairly difficult team. It's a utility knife type of team that makes the most out of these leftover troopers that are lingering around out there. So time will tell, but it's definitely on my radar. Solid Omicron. If you're having a hard time with Rebel Fighters, you maybe want a chance against those nasty CLS teams. And I'm sure there's going to be some other ways that we can take advantage of it as well. Pretty cool. Hopefully this is going to be helpful for you. New character on the block, but I wanted to put this out there. One, to kind of get you guys informed on how can you counter this character as of now. What is she useful for in Grand Arena Territory Wars? And I think the biggest thing is everyone should maybe gear her up just a little bit, even at low stars, if you got some leftover troopers. And hey, who knows? It might help you in preloaded situations, or it might even get you some good defensive wins inside of Grand Arena. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And I guess the moral of the story is, ladies and gentlemen, always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today.